Hello dear student, and welcome back for our new lesson Access Basics Part 2. This is your technology teacher Mr. Hussein Ghabris. Let's start. In today's objective, we are going to revise how to open Access database, copy and paste record from another Access database, navigate a table datasheet, create and navigate a simple query, create and navigate a simple form, create preview, navigate, and print a simple report. Okay, before going into this one, I believe all of you know how to open a database file, right? So let's start with this one. There are many ways to enter records in a table, including copying and pasting records from a table into the same database or into a different database. The two tables must have the same structure, that is, the table must contain the same fields with the same design in the same order. I believe all of you know what's the meaning of fields, right? Do you remember this? Okay, let's revise something real quick. This is the primary key, the visit ID, because it has numbers which are unique and we can't repeat them. And the visit ID is the field, patient ID is another field, visit date is another field. The whole line over here is a record, and inside one it's the value inside the cell, right? To copy it, we just click over here, it will highlight all the record, then we click copy and paste it wherever we want, right? And in this table, for example, it contains a total of 76 records. So these are the records, right? The lines. You remember this? So now, when I want to copy records, I just highlight them and paste them over here. Let's say, for example, right? These are the pasted records, 76 records. If we have 10 records, okay, it will be added to the 76, and now we have 86 records. So now it contains, the table contains 86 records. So these are the navigation buttons to go through them. Here are the scroll bars. I believe you know this. What are navigation buttons? Navigation buttons provide another way to move vertically through the records. The current record box appears between the two sets of the navigation button, display the number of the current record as well as the total number of records on the label. The new blank record button works in the same way as the new button on the home tab. So this one is go to the first record, this one to the last record, this one new blank record, this one previous record, and if you want to go to the next record, you just click this button. Now, if I want to create a simple query, I have to select, for example, here we're selecting 3 fields. For example, I want these 3 fields to be displayed in the query, okay? And here also we have 86 record, the same as the previous one. You're gonna see this later on, how to do this in details in following video. To create a simple form, forms display one record at a time. To provide another view of the data that is stored in the table, allowing you to focus on the values for one record. Access displays the field values for the first record in the table. Each field appears on the separate line as indicated in the status bar. The form is displayed in layout view. In layout view, you can make design changes to the form while it is displaying data so that you can see the effect of the changes you make immediately. So I know this is a lot of talking, but it's simple when we do it on Access. You're gonna see this in later slides or videos. Use a form to enter, edit, and view records in database. Although you can perform the same function with tables and queries, forms can present data in many customized and useful ways. So for example, here we have the visit form, okay? Here we have the visit ID. This ID was taken from the table, the main table, which has all the records and fields. Here we have the patient ID, visit date, reason, for example, okay? These are the field values for the first record displayed, okay? From graphic identifies the object as a form. So this one means this is a form, not a table. So what is a report? A report is a formatted printout or screen displays of the contents of one or more tables or queries. Reports show each field in column with the field values for each record in a row, similar to the table or query datasheet. Reports offer a more visually appealing format for the data, with the column headings in the different color, borders around each field value, a graphic of a report at the top left, and the current date, and the time at the top right. It's like any form that you see in school. It has, for example, the grade, class, your marks, when it was printed out, and so on. To do so, you have to go for creating a report. For example, this icon means this is a report graphic or icon, okay? So this is the layout view which report displays in layout view. Here are the data inside my report. Now, if we need a print preview, this is how it will look like. I can scroll down and up, and here we have the current page, and we can navigate to the other pages. Printing a report. Why do we print a report? We print report to distribute to others who need to view the report's contents. For example, like you guys, when the school print out the reports at the end of the semester for each one. How to do this? Let's talk about the steps. Open the report in any view or select the report in the navigation pane. Click the File tab to display the backstage view. Click Print and then click Quick Print to print the report with the default print settings. Last step before you see the video, the summary video, viewing object in navigation pane. The navigation pane currently displays the default category, All Access Objects, which lists all the database objects in the pane. Each object type, tables, queries, forms, and reports, appear in its own group, as you see here. In this, we have the table, visit, queries, visit list, forms, visit data, and reports, visit details.
And I have two tables in Microsoft Access, and I have one that's called inventory right here. And if I double click it to open it up, you can see that the table contains various information on what looks to be like a snack bar at maybe a local a park, and it has different information on what the items are, what the categories, the price, the quantity in stock, things like that. And then if I close this table and I open up the inventory storage table, you can see the categories, the storage room, and the locations. So that way we can quickly find the goods that we're selling at the snack bar. Alright, so one of the things I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you how to create a query based off of this table right here. And so we have an inventory table right here. And let's say your boss comes up to you and your boss says, I want to know the item, the price, and the quantity in stock for that that particular for any particular item. So you say, all right, I could do that. So we go ahead and close this table, and we could actually create a query that more or less has just that information on it, nothing else that we don't need. So the way that you do that, or the way that you create any object in Microsoft Access, is you go right here to the Create tab. Then in the Create tab, you'll see all kinds of groups in here. I've already created tables, so I'm not going to go over that one in today's lesson. But then you see this one right here, Queries. Okay, and if you hover over these two right here, it says Show the Query Wizard, which helps you create a simple query, cross-tab query, find duplicates, or find unmatched. Okay, so if you've never created a query before, you should check out Query Wizard because it'll kind of guide you through the steps. Now, if you have created a query before, and you kind of know a little bit more about what a query is and what a query does, is you could go right here to Query Design. And this says create a new blank query in Query Design. Well, the good thing about this one is that if you know how to use it, you just go ahead and you click it right there, and it'll take you to this Show Table dialog box. Now, the scenario that I said earlier was your boss wanted to know the item name, the quantity in stock, and the price of that item. Well, that's all in our inventory table. So I could click right here on inventory, rather double click it, and it's going to pop up in the background right over here. So this is how you create a query in query design. Now, this inventory table pops up right back here. Notice that I cannot actually do anything over here until I close the show table dialog box. So I close out of that, and now I'm going to expand the size of this right here. Okay, and so now I have this right here, and I say, all right, there's inventory, but before I can create a query, which again, a query is basically a way to answer a question using access. So the question was, what's the item name, the price, and the quantity in stock of all of the items that we have in our snack bar? Well, I could go right here to the item, and I could double click it, and it's going to populate right down here in our design grid. And then I could go over here to the price, double click that, and it's going to pop up as the second field in our design grid. And now I could go right down here to quantity in stock, and it's going to populate as the third item in our design grid. So I say, all right, that's perfect. And then so I click run right up here to run the query to see what the results look like. And I click run, and that's going to take us back to this datasheet view. It kind of looks like a table right now, right? And so it looks like a table. It says query one right there for the name, and it gives me all the items, the price, and the quantity in stock for all items. But let's say that your boss says, oh, hey, you know what? I just want to know which items have less than 100 quantity in stock. So we see some that have 50 and 10, and these ones have 100. So if I just want everything less than 100 to appear here, I have to change something in my design grid, and that's the criteria. So I'd go back to the design view right here in the Home tab, Views group, Design View. And now I could go into here and I could set a criteria right down here, and you'll see criteria for quantity in stock of less than 100. So you'll see right there, I did the less than symbol and then 100. And now you can see I could run the query, and it shows me all items with the quantity in stock of less than 100. So there we go. We've now answered our boss's question. Our boss said, hey, I need all items in stock, the name, the price, and anything less than 100 items. That way I know what to order. So we say, all right, that's perfect. We've got this, and so we're going to do a Control S to save. And I'm going to call this all items less than 100 in stock. And I click OK. Alright, and there we go. We have our items right there. All items less than 100 in stock. So now I can go ahead and close that. And so that's how you create in a query. And obviously there's plenty of other ways to set criteria on your query, sort in ascending order, things like that. But I'll cover those in a different video. So that's how you create a query. So what happens now if your boss says, hey, you know what, we need to fill in some more items into the inventory table here. We have this inventory table. What if you want to fill more items in, but you want to do it one record at a time? Well, the way that you would do that is to create a form. And so I'm going to close this table, and I'm going to have inventory selected right over here. And I'll go up here to Forms, and I'm going to click on Form right here. Now again, inventory has to be selected but not open. You should have no objects open whenever you create anything in Microsoft Access. I go right up here to Form, and I click in Form, and you'll see that right here it'll create an inventory form, again because I had inventory selected right over here. Now I can go through and add in or adjust different items within the categories here, and I could just go right here to new record down below, and I could start adding in new records. Okay, and so that's what forms are for. Typically you use forms to add in new records and new information. You could always do a Control S to save your forms, and I could just save it as inventory form. That way I know it's the inventory form. I click OK, and there it is. It populates right on the left side underneath form. So that's how you create forms. So I'm going to go ahead and close this form now. Alright, so the last thing I want to go over with you in today's Microsoft Access tutorial is how to create reports. Now, earlier we did this query based off of our information on the item and the price and the quantity in stock under 100. And I have this right here, and I'll close it now. And let's say I want to print this out to give to my boss. Well, the best way to print things in Access is by creating them into reports. And so I have all items less than 100 in stock selected over here in pink, but I have not opened it, right? It's still closed. So now I go to the Create tab, and I'm going to go over here to reports, and I'm going to click on the word report. Creates a basic report of the data in the current query or table to which you can add features such as groups or totals. So I click right there on report, and it creates a nice little report here. Now the report is already basically set up in what's kind of looks like a print preview mode. You can see that it adds in a title, the date, the time, so on and so forth, and all of this can be customized in your layout view. Okay, and so that's the design tab, views group, layout view right here. And you can basically customize everything that you want right here. Now notice some items such as this one right here are a little bit off in the report. Like this says the price and this is the total price down here. If I wanted to say increase the height of this or delete this or something like that, I could just click on it and then press the delete key. And since that's kind of data that I don't need. And then I could always adjust my different items in the property sheet. Obviously, there's a lot more that you could do in reports, but I'm just going to save it right now and click OK.
Thank you for your attention. Stay safe. See you soon.